There is no end in sight for the steel industry strike, which is estimated to have cost 500 million rand so far. That's R500 million. The trade union Numsa, which represents more than 100,000 workers, has rejected the wage offer of 5 to 6% salary increases. So where does this leave the steel sector? Steel and Engineering Industry Federation of South Africa's CEO, Lucio Trentini, is joining us now. Mr. Trentini, good afternoon. Where are you at now with the negotiations? Have they stalled completely? Is there stalemate here?
Good afternoon. The CIPSA mandating body has mandated a final position. That final position equates to a weighted average of 5.49%, with the bottom three grades, effectively where the Numsa membership is located, all receiving 6% increases for this year, next year, and the year thereafter. This, we believe, is a fair, equitable, and sustainable offer. We have communicated the final offer to all the trade unions. Some of the trade unions are seriously considering that offer, and we are awaiting their response. As things stand, the strike has entered its 10th day, which is unfortunate. 5 days into the strike, as you correctly said, we were projecting a loss of about 100 million rand in wages. We now probably double that number, today being the 10th day. And the loss of revenue to the sector is something that, quite frankly, we couldn't do without in a sector that is battling to recover the ravages of the last 18 to 24 months. We believe the offer on the table, which is a rand and cent offer, is an offer that all the unions, including Numsa, whose members are currently out on strike, should embrace and should come to the table and sign off as quickly as possible. We need to rebuild the sector. Not slowly dismantle it piece by piece.
So you said this is a final offer of up to 6% for everybody, including the law. And Numsa, from what I recall, we spoke to here on eNCA, was asking for 8%. Is that out of the question?
2 points. It's 6% at the bottom three grades of the wage table that governs increases for the industry. At the top, for artisans and skilled employees, the increase at the top four categories is 5%. The weighted average is 5.49. At the bottom, 6%. Numsa and CIPSA are not at odds over the quantum. We are in agreement on the numbers that I've just explained to you. There's no disagreement on the numbers. The issue that is preventing sign-off is a matter of principle. And Numsa is of the view that these percentages should be awarded on actual rates of pay. And we are of the view that in order to sustain and assist this industry to recover, that these percentages should be calculated as a rand and cent amount on the scheduled or standard rates contained in the collective agreement governing terms and conditions.
What's the difference? What's the difference of these two principles?
The difference is that our industry that has been engaged and involved in collective bargaining for the last 50-odd years, if not longer, we have employees in a category earning the minimum rate or the scheduled rate or the standard rate. And over time, these employees have been awarded increases above the standard rate. What we are proposing, and this has been a point that we have been consistently motivating through the rounds of negotiations that we've had, is that all employees in a category should receive the same rand and cent increase in relation to what hopefully will be signed off with Numsa in relation to the wage table. So it is a matter of whether increases should be awarded on what a person is actually earning, or alternatively, if these increases should be awarded as a rand and cent amount calculated on the standard rates, the scheduled rates in the collective agreement. Bearing in mind that our entry-level rate for a labourer in our sector, currently without the increase, is 49.55 rand. And if you add on all the compulsory and statutory costs to employment, you come out to a figure of about 12,500 rand. And with the 6% increase that is envisaged, that will improve and increase to 12,700 rand. So the offer on the table for a general labourer is a good offer.
Yeah, Mr. Trentini, very briefly before we end, as we conclude, when are you expecting to hear back from Numsa?
We shared the offer with them on Friday after our CIPSA Assembly of Employers met on Thursday. We know that Numsa is in the process of considering the offer. They have not called off the strike. The strike is continuing. We hope that common sense and sanity prevails, and we hear from them soon. We are sharing the offer with the other trade unions, and we hope to conclude with as many trade unions as possible, as soon as possible. We are putting this industry through an episode that, quite frankly, it could do without, the least of all employees who are experiencing no work, no pay, and factories that are having to manage with an empty shop floor.
Okay, I understand in about 20 minutes or so, just over 20 minutes or so, my colleague Clement Manyatela will be speaking to the trade union Numsa. Perhaps if you tune in at that time, you might get a sense of where they stand about this latest offer of around 6%. Thank you very much for your time. That's Mr. Lucio Trentini. He's the CEO of the Steel and Engineering Industry Federation of South Africa. Numsa currently considering that approximately 6% salary increase on the table, which CIPSA is described just now in the words by Mr. Trentini as the final offer on the table. We'll hear with Clement Manyatela what Numsa has got to say about that.